Hello everyone and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we're going to be downloading and installing Nmap on Windows. Alright, so before we get started I just want to point something out. Now Nmap from the beginning was mainly developed for Linux or with Linux in mind. Now over the years Nmap has actually focused down on Windows and have updated their Nmap version or binaries for Windows, and essentially from my research and from other people's research or other people in the community, it is known that the Windows version is as fast as the Linux version. So if you're using Windows, you can also use Nmap on Windows and you can go through the course exactly the same way. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is obviously we need to get the file downloaded or the setup file downloaded. And in order to do that, you just want to open up your browser and head over to nmap.org. Alright, so it's really very simple. So nmap.org, that's the website. And it's a really simple website. And in order to download it, just go ahead to this, you can choose to go through the download page directly, or you can just go to the Nmap release notes right here, or the release log that states that the latest version is 7.60 as of this recording, but any changes made will also be made to the course in case there are any important updates. Alright, so you can choose to download it directly from here, or you can go to the download section right there. We're just going to click here. Alright, and it's going to take us to the download page. And it's fairly simple, but a fairly clogged website, and you might get a bit confused. But don't worry, you want to go to this bold sentence right here. Whoops, let me just go back there. And it's going to tell you the latest stable release self-installer. So this is an executable file, all right? And it's very important that you understand that if you're running Windows, I would recommend that you use the executable file, because it will allow you to use the Nmap framework or the Nmap tools in the command line. All right, so just click on this right here, and it's going to prompt you to download the file. So it's about 26 megabytes, really small. I have mine downloaded, so we're going to go to the installation process. So I'm going to minimize my browser, and I have my file saved on my desktop right here. So I'm just going to run it, and let's go through the installation. So it's going to ask you for administrator privileges, grant it. And now we can go through the setup wizard, which is very simple. So I'm going to agree to the terms. Now, very important, it's going to give you an option to select the components that you want to install. It's very important that you select everything. All right. Now, as you can see, it gives you the option to install Nmap. We're going to be going through Nmap in this course, so I would recommend that you tick that and make sure that everything is ticked here, especially npcap. All right. So as you can see, when you hover over it, it tells you that npcap is required for most Nmap scans unless it's already installed. So it's very important that you check everything, and I would recommend that you leave it that way. Alright, so just hit next, and it's going to prompt you to select your destination folder. That's fine with me. I'm going to hit install, and the installation process should be fairly simple and really quick. Alright, so we're almost done here. Just give it its time, shouldn't take too much time at all, and we will be ready to go, right? Alright, so now it's going to ask me to, it's going to prompt me to go through the npcap setup. So again, this is very important. So I'm going to hit agree, and it's going to ask me for the installation options here. So automatically start npcap at driver boot time. Yes, I would recommend that you leave that on, so you don't have to start it whenever you want to use Nmap. All right, so you can restrict npcap's driver for the administrator accounts only, but I would not recommend that you click on that. All right, so you can support RAW 802.11, so that is a wireless standard, and monitor mode. So this is if you have a specific network adapter, more specifically an adapter that allows you to perform packet sniffing, and a network card that allows, again, it allows the monitor mode to be turned on. All right, so what I would recommend is that you just leave these unchecked, because these are very special settings for very special circumstances. So just hit install, and it's going to take you through the install of the npcap driver. All right. Again, this shouldn't take too much time at all, but this is the most important step. Otherwise, Nmap won't work at all. All right. So it looks like we are almost ready here to go. All right. So the npcap setup is complete. Finish. All right. And it's going to complete the Nmap setup. And what we want to do is just hit next. And it's going to prompt you asking you if you want a shortcut on your desktop or if you want one on your start menu. I'm going to like both. So I'm going to hit next and finish. Excellent. So as you can see, it's given me a shortcut on my desktop for Nmap. So we're going to be looking at that in future videos. But for now, we want to actually go through the command line interface, which is the most important because we're going to be looking at all the commands that we can use, right? So open up your command prompt, or if you don't have it already on your taskbar, which I'm guessing you do not, what you want to do is you just want to go onto your start menu, or you want to use your keyboard shortcut, your Windows button or your Windows key plus R, and it's going to prompt up your run service box right here. And you just want to hit CMD, all right? And just hit OK, and it's going to open up your command prompt. Excellent. All right, so now we can get started. So in order to perform a quick test to make sure that everything's installed, all we have to do is just hit Nmap, and it's going to print out some text here, which is essentially the manual or a command line manual that it comes with. And essentially this is all the options that you can use. So do not be overwhelmed at all. We'll be going through all of this. So Nmap is successfully installed, and you can actually run one more command to check the version that you have installed. So Nmap-v or -v, which is Nmap for version, and it's going to print out the version of Nmap that you have currently installed. I'm just going to hit that, and as you can see, we have Nmap 7.60. Excellent. So we have Nmap installed on Windows, and in the next lecture, we're going to be looking at how to install it on Linux. I'll be seeing you in the next lecture.